RosyClozy might be one of the most, if not the most popular Gachatuber in the history of this community, thanks to her hit Gacha series, The Music Freaks. Also holding probably the most famous fandom this community has created. Some will argue that it's because of a factor or another, but here is my take on it. I'll give you the exact tips that could even make your Gacha Club Mini Movie better than RosyClozy's. It's not so difficult. Stay with me here. I am Mako, and here is the secret for the success of your Gacha Club Mini Movie. There are two very important things Rosy has done to be ahead of everyone, and I mean a mile ahead. The animation. Her series is animated from top to bottom, which makes her episodes way more enjoyable to watch. It is also simply an impressive level of skill that not many can achieve. To be able to do this though, you need time to learn it, which many Gacha kids just don't have, so it's almost impossible to get on her level, unfortunately. She is just way too ahead of us. Then is the voice acting. The voice actors of this series are all pretty talented, and their voices match very well the characters Rosy has created. Let me assure you that in this case though, it's not so uncommon for a series to be voice acted. We have seen many series doing it. All you need to do is ask, create a Discord server, and the people will swoop in. It goes smoothly, I promise you. These are the primary reasons that made the series so popular. The only people unknown to this series are probably newbies, because anyone in this community, I tell you, has heard about this series already. But just for clarification, by success I very well mean the quality of your movie. It is almost impossible to get to the level of popularity of The Music Freak, and you pretty much necessarily need to be advanced in animation like RosyClozy. These tips will make your series be memorable instead. A plethora of great ideas in all these Gacha Club mini movies, and they all simply end up dull, forgettable, even annoying at times, because they don't do things right. I tend to go a tad too deep in story writing, which is not necessarily a complicated or bad thing. I think my rants could definitely better your story writing, but taking into account a majority of the community just seems, a tad shallow and not really caring about things, anyone gets praises for anything at this point. But if you want your story to be memorable at a minimum level, here is what you should do. Make the characters have a gimmick. Often, character traits don't vary much. They're either on emo mode or funsy mode, and don't stay consistent for more than 2 minutes. Characterization might be too complicated to get into or to apply, so what I suggest is to make your character have a simple trait and to stick by it. Let's take for example 2 characters I just randomly created in my mind, Sarah and Matthew. Sarah is a bubbly and pretty joyful girl, but she is pretty abrasive. That's a simple character trait with a slight negative twist to it. And Matthew is a pretty chill, normal, and laid-back guy, but gets easily flustered and scared. 2 personalities not too far from one another, but which development can be applied on, and in the question of romance, many possibilities. The trick with this tip is to go crazy. Make them do crazy shit that you know will make them weird, heroes, or whatever that can make them memorable for the plot and the story as a whole. Not all characters need to be like this. You could very well make other characters that subvert this principle of just everyone making crazy shit, and then there's just this one character that is actually normal and has no mental problems or something. But here, that's the thing. Your story needs to be unpredictable. Make the situation crazy. Just picking up from what I said just now and joining it up with this tip, your story will be crazy interesting. Situation is also a synonym for plot in this context. I don't really see how I could elaborate this point, but simply your situation needs to work well with the characters you have created to form an unpredictable situation. Let's take for example our 2 characters we just created, Sarah and Matthew. Sarah has some bullies, but for the most part she doesn't really care about them because she doesn't see them badly, so when they pick up on her, Matthew comes to the rescue, and him being relatively chill but easily flustered, he loses the control of the situations and panics and starts saying random shit, secrets, whatever, and at that point we discover whatever of ridiculous about him or Sarah, and the bullies are in complete disbelief and you get hooked. Make it go crazy, and especially the dialogue, which is my next tip. By the way, if you are finding my tips advisable, then consider subscribing. It helps a ton, and just please do it. I'd appreciate it a lot. Let's get back on the video. Make the dialogue iconic. Dialogue's another important department of good storytelling. We won't go too deep in it, just think of dialogue that could be remembered easily and said again. Don't, make it cringe, cause nobody will remember it, unless it's down bad levels of cringe. That could probably work. Make dialogue even you would say in real life and others would, because don't get ahead of yourself. We are all special in our own way, but at the same time, we aren't so different from each other. Think about that. I just thought of it now. And it just said the truth. Impactful dialogue is often about telling perspectives, but also truths that we'd want rather unheard. But then also comes funny dialogue, which is just so out there it becomes a meme. It's really anything you think might be memorable that makes you feel emotions. That's the whole point. Like, let's take for example, yet again, our two characters, Sarah and Matthew. Firstly, think about what you actually want to tell in this dialogue. Matthew is in love and Sarah is oblivious but has feelings. They're just hanging out together and Matthew asks if she has a crush on someone or something. And Sarah, which isn't the type to think about those things, says she doesn't, and upon hearing that, Matt frowns. Sarah's curious of the question though. This little interaction sparked a moment of tension, of just Matthew finally having the courage to reveal his feelings to her, which interests the viewers. She is all up on him and he starts panicking, well, because. And from there we can take multiple paths to reveal it here, or even maybe just wait it out and continue in the next episode, which just joins my other and final tip. Make your Gacha Club Mini Movie worth a series when it works. When a movie is so good, everyone wants a sequel? That's exactly my point, and exactly what's happening with the Music Freaks. Even though the Music Freaks just kind of needed it because of this bitch. Sequels just add and bring the theorists of the community in the spotlight. You should also consider making marketing of any type. Cover art, teasers, trailers, sneak peeks, anything that will pique people's interest. Of course, don't make a sequel that you know would be unsatisfying to the previous ending of the movie, and especially if the movie has an ending that is satisfying already. Like, let's imagine Sarah and Matthew finally getting together, and we're announcing a season 2, but for what? Reasons can be found, but it really just needs to work and not tarnish the movie's legacy. With these tips, I assure you your movie will have quality and interest anyone that comes across it. Of course, don't forget the title is an important asset to bring people in, but the content of the movie is what will ultimately keep everyone in. And with that said, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Please comment and like, I'd really appreciate it. And until we see each other again, ciao!